it's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater, and welcome back to another episode of Her Success Story. If you're new, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content episode today, as well as the many interviews we have in our archives. Check them out. And feel free to subscribe to Her Success Story. We come into your inbox every Monday morning. This is a content episode, and how can I let January pass up without actually touching a little bit on goals? When I started Slater Success back in 2008, I was all about goals. That's all I spoke about. For my clients, at speaking engagements, workshops I did. And the funny thing is, as much as Slater Success has developed over the 11 years, the concept of goals have not changed. But there are a few key things to be really aware of. So don't say, oh, I got my goals, I'm hanging up. It's not my episode. Hang with me just a few more minutes, because we're not going to just talk about the goal itself. That's great if you have them. I hope you do. Now we're also going to touch on what works and what not, what goals actually come to fruition, why they do, and what goals do not, and how we can help them make them happen. That's what this is about. It's not always just about setting the goal. It's about the action plan that helps you fulfill the goal. So to get started, it's very important that goals are as specific as possible. Coming back to the good old SMART goal process, they need to be specific. And what I mean by specific means that you can't create a goal of this year, I'm going to be really successful. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to get a raise. I'm going to get promoted. All great concepts, but they're not specific goals. They're concepts. So how do we know when a goal is specific? Let me take you through the little bit of the SMART goal process, and then we're going to create the designated action plan that makes things happen and helps you to hold you accountable. Your feet are in motion. So in checking if your goal is specific, we want to know if it's measurable. So listen to this idea. Can I measure what a lot of money is? Well, the last time I was speaking, I looked at the audience and I looked at somebody towards the front of the room that I could actually see eye to eye. And I said, how much money do you have in your wallet right now? And she looked at me with those big eyes and she's like, what do you mean? I said, in this day and age, we carry a lot of plastic. Because that's really, and you don't even need the plastic. You could use your wallet on your phone. There's so many alternatives that we don't tend to carry a lot of cash. On a whole, this audience had roughly at the high $100 in their pocket. So I looked at this woman and I said, great, I'm going to give you 5 20s, another $100. You now have a lot of money because you doubled the amount of money you have in your wallet. She goes, but $200 in this day and age is not a lot of money, especially running a business, having children, parents, our lifestyles, traveling, just getting from one place to another, showing up at a conference. She goes, $200 doesn't get me far. I said, I agree with you. Here's the deal. So what is a lot of money? What is a promotion? What is the title you actually want, and why do you want that title? Why is it important to you? What are you striving for? If you're looking to travel, I hear a lot of people, this year I'm going to travel. Well, I live in the heart of New York City. And traveling could be easily going through a bridge and tunnel and going to New Jersey. That's not what I had in mind. One of the things on my destinations is Morocco. I'm not promising it's happening in 2019, but I will tell you in the next couple of years it's going to happen. I actually have a couple of trips that I'm eyeing for this year versus next. I know in my goals, I put 4 specific trips down. One I'm embarking on in February. So when we start looking at exactly what we're doing in our goals and if we could measure them, I could measure if I went on a trip to Morocco. I could measure if I got an increase in my salary at 10% or a bonus. I could measure the amount my business has grown. That's what we're talking about measurable. So in SMART, S-M-A, A is one of my favorite letters because it's all about the action. And being a business owner for over 25 years has really hunkered me down to action. And when it wasn't that I had the CEO hat on, it's when I had the mom hat on that really boosted me to action. I had to get some stuff done. Come the weekends, comes downtime. There was laundry, there was activities to plan, after school programs to sign them up for. It was a life of action. The question is the actions you're taking actually helping you lead you to and achieve your goals? And that's what we're going to help look at. So when you define the goal and you know it can be measurable, one of the next steps is to understand what actions you could put in place to achieve it. So I just spent a full day with a group of people, and we created our goals. We created our action plan. And then what we did to achieve our action plan, this was a group of business owners specifically. To achieve the action plan, because the action plan had to do about business growth, growing and scaling. So we had to look at sales, and from sales, we actually, at the third part of the day, if the day was came into 4 parts, the third part of the day, we actually started dividing our marketing plan to make sure the actions are achievable. Sales can only be so achievable based on the marketing plans you have behind it. The sales team you're looking at. How are your action plans going to be achieved? That's what we're looking at here. In that way, know how important it is to accomplish and create a plan that's achievable, has the action item around it. Go back and check your goals at the top of the page and see, gee, can I put plans behind this, action plans? Simple things. If we want to look at it as a parenting realm, I remember when my kids wanted to go to summer camp. It was a nice investment, not kidding you. In that way, I knew I broke it down into, well, if it had to be paid by April with a deposit by December, how much money do I have to put aside to pay for the payments of the summer camp? That was part of my action plan, breaking down the steps so I knew something was achievable. The R in SMART comes to, let's be real, people. Is this realistic? You know, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not so sure Morocco is realistic in what I have planned for 2019. Possibility, but not necessarily realistic. With what I have on my docket, my husband's docket, I'd like to make it a family trip. My son is started a new job in December. That's a period of time to take off. There's some things in play that keep the reality of it or the realisticness of it a little vague. Until I could see if it's actually realistic, it can't be a true goal. It could be an idea or a concept. The next thing you need to do is you've got to put a timeline on this. You must have a timeline on your goals. I'm going to do X by Y. Let's look at that. If we go back to the summer camp had to be paid in full by April. I needed to do, let's say, X amount of dollars per month. How was I going to achieve that? What did my business at the time need to look like to be able to make those payments? Break it down. Have that timeline. In the same way, in how to make goals actually achievable, let's look at the action items that help it. Number one, I told you, if it's a business building goal, you want to look at your sales, how you can increase your sales. So is it you? Is it your sales team? Is there any incentives in place for your sales team? And then what's the marketing plan to support your sales? You know, for those of you who are new to the call and for those of you who've been listening, just a little background check. I spent 20 years selling printing to marketing and advertising departments. I'm really hunkered down. I made a living selling marketing materials for their sales departments. Got it? I truly believe in marketing materials. Here at Slater Success, we're undergoing a new branding that will be out this spring. In that, we're looking at marketing collateral and what we're doing with the new book coming out in a few weeks. What is the marketing material that's coordinating with it? When you break down your marketing plans, you can actually break it down into a monthly, weekly, and daily plan of action. When it's a concept possibly later in the year, I do have some plans for marketing later in the year. And in my calendar, I put it in the big notes of this is going to happen in June, July, September, whatever it is. I don't have the exact dates yet, but I know conceptually, so I put that in already in my marketing plan. Now, how do we really make goals achievable? We have to be accountable. We have to be accountable to someone or somehow. What does this look like? I've always been part of some sort of group that helps me hold my goals accountable. And we break it down into, or I specifically believe in breaking it down into 90 days. Because guess what? September seems a long way off in January, but I know January, February, March, and April. So today, if it's the end of January, I could look at the next 90 days and see what I can achieve. And I could be pretty damn specific in what could be achieved in those 90 days. I'm going to share a couple of things that's on my specific goals for the next 90 days. One is the launch of my new book. We have a date. I have team working on it, so it becomes realistic. If I was doing it by myself, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, believe me, that wouldn't have been realistic. Not what I do well. Know to delegate what you don't and bring in somehow, some way team to support you. The same is true in corporate. Not all leaders need to be good at everything. We need to know what we're good at and have the team that's good at what we're not supporting us and delegate it. That helps your departments reach your 90-day goals, your year goals, and you shine. Write down and divide up what you can do in the next 90 days. And then take 10 minutes, 15 tops, and actually implement it on your calendar. This is what I'm talking about. If you're a paper calendar person, if you're an electronic calendar person, if you do both, and some of us do. Put down what you're going to be doing in the next 90 days to help you achieve those goals. I have my calls scheduled for the book launch. All the way through post-launch review are already scheduled. With the website and an event coming up in March, things are already in the schedule. Not just the events and the launch, but the activities that have to happen to make them successful. If you're quick at it, great. If you need a little bit more time, allow yourself the time and write it out, because now you actually understand what your job is every week when you're working on your business, your career, and your life, how you're going to accomplish it. I'm dedicated to my fitness. I was a dancer for 20 years. I blew out my knee to keep myself out of surgery after a bad back and a bad knee. I know I need to hit a gym. I know in that area I'm lazy. I make sure I earn the funds that pay a trainer that get me up at 6-something in the morning to get my butt to the gym. And accountability. Funny thing is, my daughter has an accountability partner at her, which is just a friend from high school who lives near her, and their opportunity to visit each other is to meet once or twice a week at a class at 6:30 in the morning. It's a matter of what can you do that creates accountability in your life. My group that I'm part of, that we hold each other accountable for our action plans, is really important to me. It's my reach out. If I'm struggling and getting my work done and I know I'm going to be held accountable, I reach out to my group and I said, this is where I'm struggling. And I get some brainstorm ideas how I can achieve and succeed. in making 2019 your best year yet. And I don't know, join me. I know mine's going to be pretty damn good because I said so. I made the decision. And I'm creating not just the goals, but the action plans and the accountability that hold my feet to the fire to achieve them. Keep me posted. Let me know in some comments under the podcast. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on all those platforms. Most importantly, to your 2019, may all your dreams and desires come true. Remember, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Create your deadlines, create your actions. See you next week.